Our next guest is a veteran of 16 seasons as a head coach of men's and women's collegiate swimming and diving programs and is beginning his second season at Notre Dame. Mike Litzinger is the first coach at Notre Dame since 1995 to take the lead for both programs. He has already had a tremendously positive impact here at Notre Dame as the Irish broke 6 Notre Dame records last season and qualified 4 women and 6 men for the 2016 NCAA championships. Mike served 7 years as the head coach of the women's team at St. Bonaventure and 7 more years as the head coach of the men's and women's programs at Utah. Before coming to Notre Dame, Mike was the associate head coach at North Carolina, so he is very familiar with the competition the Irish will face in the ACC. We are pleased to welcome Coach Litzinger to the Jack Swarbrick Show.
Welcome, Coach. Great to have you.
Thanks, Jack. Pleasure to be here. Good to see you.
So I've got to start out. I've had friends say Golick, a bunch of different swimmers, and the one thing I always notice is that they're always at practice early in the morning. Is there a benefit to that? As a college student, I got to say no.
I just got to answer it with, if you want to swim like a fish, you got to train like a fish, right? You got to be in the water.
Always in the water.
Always in the water, yeah.
It's just like spring ball for you guys, right?
Early mornings, I guess.
Early morning in spring.
Yeah, I guess so.
You manage it. Of course, they're going twice. That's the difference.
That's what I'm saying. Early in the morning, by the time I'm at home sitting on the couch, they're swimming again. So
Yeah. It's just a different medium. I think, you know, you guys are walking around on your 2 feet all day, and you have that awareness about you, but the kinesthetics involved in being in the water and being in a prone position, I think, can lend itself to a little extra time.
There you go.
Coach, you haven't been here that long, and then we gave you the assignment of taking over both programs. So your first 2 years have both been filled with transitions in a sense.
Right.
Are you feeling grounded and settled in?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been the most seamless transition to any place I've ever worked before. So your staff helps make that happen. The student athletes make that happen. And I've got a great staff to work with, so it's been pretty easy.
What's the principal difference between coaching a combined program and coaching just men or a women's team?
Well, there's double the work, of course, but I think that growing up in age group situations, our athletes train together regardless. So this is natural for them. It's healthy. It's something they've done all their careers. So the transition between a single-sex program and a co-ed program is pretty seamless. But, of course, coaching a single-sex program, you focus a little bit more intently on recruiting. Things are a little bit more under a microscope, so to speak. You don't spread yourself out as thin among 60 athletes as you would against 28, 30 athletes. So it's a numbers game, but we're allowed to have an extra coach if you combine the programs, and so we spread our workload out so everybody gets great attention.
Twice the work. That sounded almost like a pitch for more compensation.
Yeah, right. He's taking his opportunity right here.
Yeah. No, I had one of our assistants ask me today, now you're head of both. How is it different? It's almost the same question. And as a head coach at any program, let alone at Notre Dame, your phone's always on, but it's always ringing. There's always a message. There's always 10 emails. And I think Jack taught me the best thing is pick out the 3 most important emails of the day, and that's where you attack, start your day from. But it's a busy thing to do. And as an assistant, you can go home, make your call, be done. And I never feel like I'm ever done. So it's a good feeling, though. It's a really good feeling.
For you, is there, that communication is so key as a head coach. Is there a difference between, now that the teams are together, that communication aspect on, meet day or practice, during a practice? What's that communication like between the two and now that they're together?
Well, I think we always start the day off together, and then we split up into our groups. So I touch base with everybody. We also have a Monday morning, and you brought up our morning practices, that each coach changes their training group. So we have, much like in football, we would have a specialized coach, a sprint coach, a middle distance, and a distance coach. And we decided that we were going to coach other groups on Mondays so that we get a good look at every athlete on our team and be able to develop a relationship with them. And if I'm not available to coach the middle distance group or give advice, another coach could step right in because they've already worked with that athlete, and that athlete would feel comfortable receiving feedback from them. So we try to spread ourselves around. And, of course, I want to meet and talk to every athlete about their goals and how the day's going and things like that. So there's a constant rotation through the office.
Mike, it's hard to overstate the impact you've made on the program in a really short period of time. I mean, its trajectory is just great right now. To beyond sort of the coaching acumen you bring to it, which is significant. What are the things that have helped you make so much progress in such a short period of time?
I've been to a few other places, and I haven't made very good choices sometimes at those places, but you learn from those. And when I say not make very good choices, I mean, as a young coach, you may come in on fire and you're ready to go, and you work kids so hard that they can't get out of their own way, and you kind of take a step back and, get an evaluation from them, or the way that you may recruit an athlete, or the way that you interact with an administrator. And of course, it's all educational, and it's foundation and building a relationship and your resume as a coach. So I kind of feel like I'm hitting a sweet spot right now, but you never know. You always have to stay on your game because things can change pretty quickly. But again, I'm working with great people here, great support, great administrators and coaches, so it makes my job a little easier.
Yeah, we were just talking a little bit before we got on about, you guys are starting up this weekend and you're still going full blow in practice this week. Do you guys ever make adjustments to, what your athletes are feeling throughout the week?
You have to. You have to. And it's a training-oriented sport, so and especially around this time when you have the 2 weeks exam period coming up. And one of the great things that is awesome about the Notre Dame athletic department is that we have a performance team meeting, and we get evaluations from academic support, nutritionists, strength coaches, our administrator, and the coaching staff, along with strength coaches. And you get these inputs on the kids and how they're doing and what's their week looking like this week, or and we do that twice a month, and that's a very valuable resource. And I can't tell you how much I sell that in recruiting, because we're sitting there talking about your son or your daughter twice a month and how we can help them achieve and be better people. And some of the public institutions that I've been at, it's been very sterile. That the relationship's real sterile, and it's not that way here. And I grew up on a small campus, college campus, and sat in a professor's home for 33 years, and I know how the relationships are. So it's been really wonderful to be able to translate all that to what we're doing at Notre Dame.
That leads me to the next question I wanted to ask you, which is, you've been in a number of institutions. How is recruiting at Notre Dame different, if it is?
It's very different. And it's very different because of two things. Number one, because of the institution and the impact it has academically, the athletic tradition. We're a small school that plays big. I think I can steal that from you, Jack. But we've boiled it down to kind of instead of going 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 weekends in a row, we concentrate into a couple of weekends a year where our student athletes can really focus. We invite the parents. We do everything that we can with meetings and show them the other side of Notre Dame. They're coming because we can coach. We can get them fast. They're not worried about that piece. They're worried about what their son or daughter, or how I'm going to fit into what we're doing here at Notre Dame and what's our vision. So when we sell that, it's much easier. Now, that may seem very generic, but I can tell you that at one institution we had 12 recruiting weekends in a row. Your team is dead after that, trying to host and trying to put the dog on, so to speak, every time. And your staff is dragged out. And if you're making 75 phone calls a week, it's really difficult. So we kind of narrow our focus down very early in the process, and we target our kids. We know who we want, and we go after them. And our success rate is very, very high right now.
Yeah. As a recruit, when I was coming, I still had so much to learn. But even now, when I'm helping out with recruiting, I feel like I'm learning a bunch of new stuff about this school all the time. Is there anything that you've learned, over the past year about Notre Dame that, kind of stuck out?
I'm still learning as well.
Yeah.
But the thing that is most amazing to me, and that I really use in recruiting, but I think it's it's a thread that runs throughout Notre Dame, is when Notre Dame calls, you come back. Your alumni are phenomenal. Since the programs have been combined, I can't tell you how many people have reached out from the past. And I'm talking from the 50s and 60s, and I'm talking from reaching out, and they haven't had a lot of interaction with the program for one reason or another, but they're excited about what's going on. And even just to walk around on a game day Friday to see, hey, I went here in 76, and it was kind of that kind of deal. But that's the most amazing thing to me. I think you could go to another institution and they can say, oh, our football team's doing great, I'm going to be a fan this season, but then they don't have a strong attachment to the university. Here it just pulls you back in, and people love it, and people want to be here. And I was in the parking lot on Saturday, and a guy graduated from the business school in 92, and we talked for 2 hours probably. Brought his kids over. We took pictures. Who wants to take their picture with the swimming coach? So, but the reason they come back once a year, and they get so excited about it and so thrilled about it, and they hit all the spots. But they are true domers, and they love it.
Yeah, the picture phenomenon, no matter who you are, takes a little getting used to. When I first took this job. Yep. I was with my family, and we were actually in another city, and someone came up to me and said, Mr. Swarbrick, can I take your picture? And one of my kids looked at him and said, why? sort of put it in perspective, right?
Sure.
We mentioned you're opening with Michigan State. Yep. This weekend, you're in one of the tough conferences in the country, the ACC, a lot of great programs. Who should we be looking for to help make big contributions to the team this year? I know it's hard to single out people, but who are some of the folks we should be focused on?
Well, I think we had a great summer. There was an Olympic trial year, and we went on to swim at the U.S. Open, and so we have some middle class, I guess, sophomores and juniors that are really doing some great things for us. And Rob Whitaker on the guys' side I think he's ranked 39th in the world right now in the 200 backstroke, which is. I guess you can take a stat either way, but that's really a neat accomplishment for somebody who is kind of an up-and-comer on the men's team. Of course, we have great leadership. Our captains are doing a great job there. Our senior guys are tough. But same thing with our women. I think there's that kind of sweet spot in our sophomore class, along with some leadership that we have. And then we have an influx. We have 11 freshman women this year, so they're going to make a pretty significant impact. So I would look for us to be way improved on both sides, not just because of experience, but because of an influx of new talent. And, I think the ACC is a really difficult conference. We've had a national champion come out of the ACC since 2013, every year. And, this year we had a multitude of Olympians, and it's just a tough conference. I think we've supplanted, dare I say it, the Big Ten is the third best swimming conference in the country. And so we're a little bit behind the Pac-12, and I'd probably say the SEC's right in the lead right now. But we're barking up the right trees on that. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, Coach, best of luck this season.
Thanks.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight, and I hope it all goes well against Michigan State. We owe them one, right?
Yeah, we do. We'll give it to them.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
We'll be back in a minute.
We represent the greatest university in the world. Let's carry that pride tonight onto this field, and let's play for Notre Dame, and let's play for Our Lady. That's how we're playing today. I don't know what next week holds, or the week after, or 3 weeks down the road, but tonight, that's how we're playing this football game.
Caught beautifully.